As we said there yesterday, we are starting with the first day, which is Introduction to Python Programming. So the first thing we do, click on Start. As we install Python 8 or Python 10, you will see Python 8, Ideal Python, or Python 10. Anyone you click, I'm clicking Python 8. Click on Ideal Python. So when you open your Python, you will see this environment. It is called the shell environment. This is where you actually work, okay? Now, the next place where you work is called the text editor. How do I start the text editor? I click on File, I click on New. Now, I'm starting the new environment where I can work. This new environment is called the text editor. So I can work in these two environments, the text editor and the shell. The difference is this. When you are in the shell, this is where you type one instruction at a time. So if you type an instruction and press enter, it will be executed. You see the results. So we normally use shell to test out whether an instruction is working or not, to test out whether a statement is working or not. But in shell, in text editor, this is where we write a full program. You can write so many instructions, save it as a program in a file, then you can run it and see how the program is working. Okay, so let us try something in shell. When I'm in shell, if I type 2 plus 2 and press enter, you see shell will execute it and return the answer to this instruction, which is 7. If I type A equals to 6 in shell and press enter, okay, I've given an instruction A equals to 6. For me to see what is inside A, I will just say print, open and close bracket, then press A. Now what is inside A will be displayed as 6. So this is where you can give instruction one at a time. You see the results. Now I want to write a program. To write a program, I come to the file, I come to the text editor. I can now say maybe A equals to, let us say A equals to maybe 2. I'll type B equals to 3. For me to do the addition of the two numbers, I can now say add equals to A plus B. So these are different instructions. For me to see the result of the addition, I will say print A, print add. So add now is the variable that will be printed. Now you see this is a program now, having 4 instructions. For me to see, to run it, to execute it, I will first of all save it. For now, it is saying untitled. So if I come and save, I click on file, click save. I'm saving the program now as a file. So I'm saving it. Let me go and save it on the desktop. I click on desktop, type the name I want to call the file. I want to call the file www. If I click save now, the file is saved. Now, if you look here, what is here is www, the name of the file. So the program is now saved in a file called www. You can even call it an application. For me to run the application, I click on run module, or you can press F5. If I click now, I will see the results in the shell. The results will appear in the shell as 5. What is happening here is that A is a variable, B is a variable. So I'm assigning 2 to a variable A. I'm assigning 3 to a variable B. Okay. Now the contents of A and B will be added together and be assigned to the variable add. So this is a variable add. I'm now printing the contents of add. So that is what is happening there. Okay. Now, but this program is not all that good. Why is it not good? It's not good because anytime I run this program, by pressing F5, I'll get the result 5. If I run it again and press F5, I get the result 5. So it is not a good application. The user of your program will like to add 2 numbers that he or she wants to add. And not anytime she adds 2 numbers, it will always be 5. So how do I change it so that the result can give me what I want? So I will use input statement. So I will say input, open and close brackets. Inside it, I will put a quote. This quote will inform the user of my program what to do. Enter first number. So this is the program we see that he's being asked to enter first number. So I will ask him again, input, enter second number. So this is the program we see that he's being asked to enter second number. So any number that is entered from the keyboard will be saved in A. So A is a variable. I can even call this variable Fn as in first number. I call this one Sn as in second number. Then I come and change this to Fn, change this to Sn, so I can now save. If I run it again by pressing F5, it's now running. So on the shell, I will see enter first number. So this enter first number is, what is telling the user what to do. So we call it a string. We use quote to show a string, a message telling the user what to do. So if I type maybe now 4 and press enter. If I type 5 and press enter, it will give me result as +5. If you look well now, this result is wrong. I expect to get 9, not 45. So I need to do something to convert these 4 and 5 to numbers. Because anytime you enter something from the keyboard using input statements, that thing you enter from the keyboard is seen as a text, not as a number. So for me to convert these 4 and 5, which are seen as text, I will have to use int function in quotes. So I will we call it casting. I will cast these 2 variables with an int function. It means that I'm converting them to integer. So 5 and 4 will now be converted to integer. So if I save now and run the program again, it will ask me to enter first number. If I type 4 now, second number. If I type 5 now, it will now give me the result, which is 9. So this is where we are. This is the person we are going to learn. We call it sequential programming. Sequential programming, where you can, write program that will execute from beginning to the end without jumping any statement. Next thing we shall look at is selection type of a programming. Selection, yes, this is the type of program where some statements can be executed, others will not be executed based on some conditions. For example, let us assume that I have a variable called m. In this m, I'll give it a value called 5. I have another variable called n. This n, I'll give it a value called 7. Now I want to compare which one is bigger than the other. So I will use if statement. So if statement allows us to execute some statements and skip some statements. So I will say if m less than. So I'm introducing an operator called less than operator. We use it to compare 2 operands, 2 things. So I want to compare m and n. So I say if m less than n, then I'm using a column to show then. Then if this condition is true, if this condition here is true, then execute the statement coming after this condition. So I may want to print and say that m is less than n. Okay. But if this condition is not true, what do? I use else if. I will say else if m greater than n. Okay, I put my colon again. Print what? M is greater than n. So if I run this program now, you see some statements will be executed, the other one will not be executed based on the condition that is satisfied. So if I run it now and press F5, if I run it, it's telling me that m is less than n. M is less than n because m is 5, n is 7. If I come and change this program now and make m to be 15 and run it again, save and run, it's telling me that m is now greater than n. So this is how we can make a program to execute some statements and jump others. Yes, then there are times too that you may want to test out up to 3 alternatives or 4 alternatives. Let us change this program. Then in that case, let us say that maybe we have something like a score. Let us say we have a score S. S is a variable that represents score. So if I say score equals to, let us cast it. I want to cast it. Cast. So in that case, I want to input from the keyboard. I want to input something from the keyboard. So anything I input will now be a number. So I can now say enter score. So that the person using your program will know what to do. Enter score. And now say if score greater than 69, then that is colon. Print A. And I say else if. See how I'm using it. I'm putting the condition again. The next condition that I want to test out if S is less than 59. If that is true, then print B. I want to test again. Else if S is greater than, let us just use maybe 49. If it is true, then print the person scored C. Okay, let us. Then the last one, as this one now, this condition is the last thing I want to test. That is fair. I'm going to use S. And in using S, that means when other conditions are false, then the last one should be S. That depending on what you want to test to. So I mean that the only thing I want to test is A, B, C, and F. I don't even want P. As I'm zooming, I will now say else if. I will say X, then fail, for instance. So if I save this now, it will only print one statement for me that is true. So if I now save it and run, Control S. If I run it, it will ask me enter score. I'm in shell now, enter score. If I type 88 and press enter, it will show me A answer. Other B, C, F will not show. This is what we call selection. Selecting a statement out of so many statements. When that is when you take such a thing in a program, you use if statement. The next thing is what we call nested if. Nested if means that at times we can have if statements inside if statements. depending on what you want to achieve. For instance, let us do another example. Assume I have an age equals to, I will say, let us cast it again. Let us cast it. And I say input. So at anything we input from the keyboard will be converted to a number. So I'll tell the user of my program to enter his age. Okay. Now I want to test out some things. I will say if age is above, if age is greater than, let us use 59. If someone is above 59, then what will happen? I will say, I want to test out two things, only two things. I will say S, do what? Let me take it back here, because there's other things I want to do. I will say do what? I will say print. Then, if age is above 59, I will say do what? Print something. So this is my structure, the structure of my program. I want to print what? Print life starts at 60. Life starts at 60. Otherwise, if it's not true, then print. Keep hustling. Keep hustling. Now, I want to put something else here. Life starts at 60, which means the person has not reached 60 years. I want to also test what else can be tested. I can say if age is above 69. Okay, then what can I do? Print something. X. Print something. Now watch this logic. Now what can I print here? I will say print and also a senior citizen. S. What can I print here? Also, and keep hustling. Now what are these? Now this is a if statement inside this if. So this is if, the outer if and the inner if, meaning that if this is true, do all this. Don't do this at all. But if this is not true, don't do any of this. Go ahead and do this. So let's first of all run it and see whether it is working. If I save and press enter, it's telling me to enter the age. So if I press maybe 8, it will tell me two things. It means that this is true. Age is above 59. It will tell me life starts at 60. It will again test age. If it's age above 69, it will tell me and also a senior citizen. You see now? So I want to see that the person is above 50, and although it's above 60, it's also a senior citizen because it's above 69. But if I run it again, maybe I enter 65 now. It will tell me life starts at 60 and keep hustling. You see now, it's above 59. It's true, 59 is above 59, which means it's from 60 and above. Life starts at 60. But now it is below 69. If it's below 69, it's not a senior citizen. It will not say keep hustling. Of course, this one will not be tested at all. So that's how we can use if inside if. So the next thing we shall look at now is loop. Loop is where we repeat some statements more than once. Now, that is the third construct. The third construct. We want to repeat some statements more than once. I say maybe, for instance, J equals to 0. I want to print out maybe numbers 1 to 20. You see, I can use a Y statement. Yj less than 20. Okay, let us say 10. Less than 10. I put my column. Then print J. I will increment J equals to J plus 1. So this statement will allow us to print from 1 to 10. The logic should be clear. Here, I'm saying that J is 0. Here, I'm testing this condition. If J is less than 0, is less than 10, then print J. So J now is 0, so it will print 0. So all these things will be executed. All these statements under Y will be executed. The statements under Y is called a suit. Suit means that all these statements should be executed as far as the condition is true. So after printing J at this first stage, it will come and increment J by 1. After incrementing J by 1, then because it is a loop, Y means a loop. Now the order of execution will go back to Y statement to check if J is still less than 10. By now, J is now 1. It will now be 1 less than 10. If it is true, it will print J. It will now increment J again. J will now become 2. It will go back and test. Is 2 less than 10? Yes, it will print 2. Like that until it gets to 10. When it is now above 10, it will be false. When it is false, this loop will stop. So if I save it now and print and run it, you see, it has run from 1 to 9, 0 to 9. So if I change this program now to 20 and save it and run it, it will print from 1 to 20, from 0 to 19. Okay. If I want to make it 20, I will make this one. I will make this one 21. If I save this now and run, to print from 0 to 20. So it depends on what you are doing, that you now know what to do. But you see, using Y is not always the best in Python. So we can use a Python function called range. When you use range function, you can achieve all these things in 2 statements. Let us go. Now, instead of using Y, we use for. So let me put a comment. Comment. Implementing loop. We implement loop, using Y or for keywords. Okay, so let me now implement using for. I will say for maybe, okay, let us call it IC. It doesn't say matter, it's still in order. You can still use I or J. Say J for J in range. So range of 10. I put my column. I say print. Print J. If I save it now and run it, it will do the same thing. So we can use the range function, you know, to do the same thing. But now there's a range to iterate over a range of over a sequence of numbers. But actually, Python for statement is used to iterate over an object, not just a number. An object is something like persons, animals,